Tiki Barber is the running back. And Kerry Collins calls the timeout. This is a big down in the game. 3rd and goal with a 7-0 lead, and we'll be right back. Getting a field goal by Brad Daluiso and leading the Cowboys by a score of 10-0. Drive started on the 20-yard line, but it was Tiki Barber's 47-yard run which set everything up. And now the Cowboys will get their hands on the ball again. That's Jason Tucker, who is back deep. Brad Daluiso will kick off. Chris Atkins also back, but this is headed for Tucker at the 10-yard line. Jason Tucker has running room. And Tucker is knocked out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Dave Thomas prevented the touchdown, but the Cowboys in business following the 90-yard kickoff return by Jason Tucker.
Well, special teams is something that they talked about all week long, how it had to be is going to be a big part of it, especially when an offense is struggling. But watch Jason Tucker, and he's out and he's full speed down the sideline. Now I want you to watch Dave Thomas. It's all about angles, and this is really, really well done, and a very good effort by Dave Thomas to pick the right angle and run through it. Tucker almost ran by him, but he got his hands on him and forced him out. That's a great effort by Thomas.
And the longest kickoff return in Jason Tucker's career. And the Cowboys, who have been shut out so far, have a 1st and goal at the New York 2. Aikman gives to Emmitt Smith, and Smith maybe a yard, that's all. 27 yards rushing for Emmitt Smith this afternoon after gaining 132 2 weeks ago against the Carolina Panthers. But Tucker electrifies the Cowboys with a kickoff return that could bring Dallas back in the game.
They've got to get something, this Dallas Cowboy offense. Tucker just gave a golden opportunity, obviously, sitting down here. And now it's up to the Giant defense and reestablishing that line of scrimmage. I would expect a little play action right here. Same thing that the Giants used on the Cowboys for a score.
2nd and goal, and there's almost a similar play, but no one home, and the pass is incomplete. There was no one there, and pressure by Cedric Jones.
You know why? Because Michael Strahan buried Jackie Harris, because he was listening to our commentary, and he figured, what the heck, I ain't letting this tight end off. That's a great job by Strahan, because Harris was they were going to go play action. He was going to delay and then jump back out to the outside, and Strahan played his coverage perfectly.
Did Strahan listen to us and play at the same time?
I think so. I think he's doing a good job of that.
3rd down and goal at the 1, and it's caught and run in by Robert Thomas for the touchdown. So Jason Tucker set it up, and Thomas getting the touchdown on the receiving end. His first touchdown catch of the year. Here it is again.
It's a play action right at you this time. Cedric Jones had a chance to knock the fullback, but again, you're so intent of getting in there that you run right by him. Thomas slips out into the flat, beats his coverage for 6.
So Tim Seder on for the extra point after the Cowboys touchdown, and the kick is good. And so Jason Tucker with a 90-yard kickoff return, broke one against the Giants last year as well, and it's now a 10-7 score in favor of New York. Reserve big smile for Jason Tucker, who ran a kickoff back against the Giants at the end of last year, 79 yards. This was 90 yards, and Robert Thomas with his first NFL touchdown, and the Giant lead cut to 3. Ron Dixon on the return, and Dixon is tripped up. Good play by Darren Woodson, of all people.
Let's watch the wedge form of these Dallas Cowboys on Tucker's return. Watch Brandon Noble right there. Boom, very good job. But then I want you to watch right here. That's Brandon Short, the linebacker, who was anticipating getting blocked by Mike Myers, and it never happened. And in that anticipation, he ran. Watch this. He's anticipating being blocked. Nobody touched him. And he had a shot to make a play. And on the back end of it, again, Dave Thomas with the great effort.
Oh, those linebackers from Penn State. What are you going to do?
Having a bad year all the way around.
Giants with the first down from the 35. Ron Dayne getting the carry, trying to follow blockers, and Dayne picking up about 5 yards. Coakley on the stop.
This is going to be a penalty on Alonzo Spellman, and it's because Glenn Parker, the crafty old vet, the left guard who they pulled, he gave Alonzo Spellman a push in the back after the play, and he went flopping down. And while Parker was down, Alonzo Spellman just gave him a kick. He's just going to keep on going, give him a push, and he's going to act like it's not a big deal. That's player number 1, okay? Now, once you get away with it, you just get up and act like it's no big deal. Here comes Alonzo. He gives him a little nudge. Actually, that's not too bad. They flagged it.
That nudge is going to give the Giants the ball at the 45 of the Cowboys. So again, the Dallas Cowboys are not playing particularly poised with some of the penalties that they've committed today.
Glenn Parker, I get a kick out of him. I mean, when you see him out of his uniform, he looks like he'd be a garbage truck driver, and all the garbage truck drivers would be offended.
That's true. First and 10 at the 45, 10-7 to score. The quick out to Hilliard. Hilliard breaking 2 tackles. And out of bounds. All of a sudden, this is turning out to be a big play game with a lot of offense. That was a 22-yard pickup for the Giants. Woodson missed Hilliard on that occasion.
Well, you also had Alonzo Spellman. He took a hit up. Watch Spellman turn and run. That's a great job. There's 3 guys who had a chance at him. There's Spellman with the hit. Didn't wrap his arms. He just stayed right with it. And then Woodson, he made him miss. The first one was Philippi Sparks, then Spellman, then Woodson.
Tiki Barber in the game. First and 10 at the 23. Under 9 minutes to go in the third. Barber up the middle, still going, and Barber close to first down yardage. Teague making the tackle, and the Giants using Barber and Dayne, perhaps most effective way they've used them since week 2 against the Eagles.
Dick, and maybe more importantly is the patience that Sean Payton's having with their running game. Just watching this Dallas Cowboy defense, the longer they stay on the field as a group, they wear down. I mean, they're not a big group. We've documented that. Their inside tackles have the size. Once you get past that group, they're tough. You can wear them out.
Second and 1, and they go on the ground to Dayne. First down to the 10-yard line. So Ron Dayne pounding the Dallas Cowboy defense as we wind down to nearly 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. By the way, Joe Jurevicius has been in for the Giants at wide receiver in place of Amani Toomer here in this third quarter. There's Spellman talking to Dave Campo. First and goal now at the 10. And here is Tiki Barber following Camella's block and on the 5-yard line. So the Giants practically alternating their 2 running backs. Barber and Dayne get 5 yards. Coakley on the tackle. It'll be second and goal.
One of the areas where the Cowboys have troubles at defensive end, because they actually took Alonzo Spellman and moved him out because he gave him a bigger body. He was able to protect the linebackers a little bit more. And when he's out of there, which he is right now, there's a drop-off in terms of being physical at the line of scrimmage.
There they are, 141 yards between the 2 of them. And here's Barber again, and Tiki is hit hard at about the 3-yard line. That will bring up third down and goal for the Giants, and no surprise that Woodson on the bottom of that pile. Leon Lett was on the top.
I was talking last night just with Darren Woodson about his young front, the people who play in front of him, those 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers. And when you're trying to learn those players, is hard for safety, because so much of what a safety has to do is he has to fit and fill the gap. And if he doesn't know where a guy is going to be in terms of discipline, he has a hard time filling.
Look at those numbers. 120 total yards to 2. Third and goal, the Giants favor. Here is Collins. Fires, incomplete. And the ball hit the ground clearly as Barber was the intended receiver, and Collins got tripped up and got rid of the ball before he hit the ground. So once again, the Giants do not get into the end zone and will have to be satisfied to attempt a field goal.
That's big right there. I mean, if you hold them to a field goal here for the Dallas Cowboys, you're just, you're one play away from being up again.
So Brad Daluiso, his first attempt, successful from 24 yards out. This will be a 20-yard attempt. And frustration mirrored on the face of Kerry Collins. And the kick is good. But remember, the Giants had first and goal the last 2 possessions on the Cowboys and came away with 6 points.
And that's because I'll try to get it before he does.
Brad Daluiso will kick off, and back deep for the Cowboys, Tucker and Aikens. And here's Tucker, returned the last kickoff, 90 yards. And not this time. Dave Thomas puts an exclamation point on Tucker after a return of 27.
He got him the last time too, but it was after a 90-yard jaunt. This time he just goes ahead and puts an exclamation point on it, like you mentioned. There's the wedge again, and just running right behind that thing. This time the left return. Tucker gets right up inside that, but watch the sudden stop. It's a good job by Dave Thomas.
13-7 the score. Tucker with 167 return yards. He has been the man. The Dallas offense, not much to show for their work today. Damon Hodge and Rocket Ismail are the wide receivers, in the handoff. Emmitt Smith burst straight ahead, and he got tripped up after a gain of 11 yards, and that'll be a first down to midfield. And that is the longest rush of the game for Emmitt Smith, who has 38 yards on 12 carries. Smith has had some major runs against the Giants here in Giants Stadium. Shadows enveloping the gridiron. 5.5 minutes to go in the third. First down, and again they go to Smith, and Smith with 2 fine carries gets 7 yards on the carry. Barrow on the tackle. Second half of our Fox NFL doubleheader coming up. The Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals, and we had mentioned that the viewers in New York would see the 49ers and the Packers. Not so. They will see the divisional battle between the Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals, which affect the Giants more than the other game would. And of course, the Giants, going into the bye week, will entertain the Eagles in 2 weeks. Second down and 3 from the Giant 43-yard line. And again, Emmitt Smith, and he'll get another first down. Cedric Jones wraps him up, but Troy Aikman going with Smith successfully and picking up first down yardage.
I think you have to. I think you have to let this offensive line kind of flex its muscles a little bit. In the first half, they didn't do anything. Actually, the first half, they kind of threw the ball a little more than maybe they wanted to, trying to set some things up. Right now, they just get it. You got some big bodies up there. Just let those big bodies come off the ball. Offensive linemen love that.
Ryan Hale is in there as a 5th defensive lineman. 5-man front. And here is Smith. And Smith still finds room to run. And he gets about 6 or 7 yards on the play. And right now, for a game break, let's check in with James.
To me, he's the key. Kurt Warner's having a phenomenal year, but Marshall Faulk just presents all the problems.
No question about it. Ask any coach. 2nd and 4, play action, and the pass caught by David LaFleur, the tight end, who has really been ignored, especially with Jackie Harris, and a 19-yard gain inside the 15.
That is a great job by Michael Strahan. This is really hard to do for Strahan. They lock the defensive end up on coverage with the tight end, and watch Strahan right there on top of him. That is as good as it is going to get. That's really well done. That's a good throw, good catch. But Strahan does a good job of covering.
Only the 2nd catch of the year for the starting tight end LaFleur. First down at the 13, and falling down is Aikman, and now dropping down is Chris Warren, thanks to Jesse Armstead, and there'll be a loss of a couple on that play.
That was a run blitz. They went ahead and blitzed that running down all inside, just taking all the gaps. When you run blitz, what you do is you put a body in all the gaps across. You know, in offensive football, between the guard and center is the A gap, between the center and tackles the B gap, outside the tackles the D gap. So you take those people and you fill everything inside, you give them nowhere to run.
2nd and 12. Aikman swings it out to Warren. Warren inside the 10. And Warren gets another first down. I believe he has it. He drove Sean Williams back, and it's very close to the first down. And if the Cowboys get it, it would be 1st and goal with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter. So both teams' offenses have awakened here in the second half.
Well, this one is brought to you by courtesy of Mark Stepnoski, 53. And because it was his block right there at the edge, and also Tucker's block right there, that allowed him to square his shoulders and be definitive and get up inside.
1st and goal at the 3. Cowboys down by 6. Here's Emmitt Smith, prances into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Dallas Cowboys in position to take their first lead of the game.
Well, they did it the old-fashioned Cowboy way also. They stayed on the ground, and they just moved the pile with the offense. This one's on Emmitt. It's starting to go over here, but his vision takes him back.
Touchdown number 4 on the ground for Emmitt Smith. He has 5 carries this drive for 32 of those yards, including the score. And now Tim Seder looking to put the Cowboys ahead for the first time, and does. So the Giants have led all the way until the 1:19 mark. Here in the third quarter, it's Dallas by 1. Yards, capping it with a 3-yard touchdown run. And the Dallas Cowboys leading for the first time in the game, 14-13. So after Troy Aikman threw 4 interceptions in the first half, relying on the ground game now. Ron Dixon back to return. And so something the Giants have not done this year, come from behind to win, and they're in that position to have to come from behind again. Ron Dixon returning, and the rookie is tackled at the 27-yard line by Chris Aikman.
You know, just watching this New York Giant team, they've always been looking for somebody to get them fired up this offensively. It looks like Parker's kind of taken that mantle. Remember we talked about at the start of the game how he stood up in the team meeting and said, look, we won the game, but it was basically it was a horrible effort by us. You can't be satisfied with that. The defense now just took one on the chin. Emmitt cashed it in, and Parker's going out there saying, basically, we're okay. Now let's let our turn out there.
Now let's see what Parker and the rest of that offensive unit does. Starting from the 27-yard line. Tiki Barber and the running back play action, and Barber out of the backfield drops the ball. He was open. He could not hold on.
He also was well protected. You notice I always had this. I would look at guys when they come off the sideline and you see guys start yelling and talking, slapping guys and giving pep talks, and then I'd go out there and watch them get burned for 6 or give up a sack or something. So I think there's one thing to talk about. There's another thing to talk about and then go do something about it. This last play, Parker's blocking very, very well, and I get more respect for a guy like that.
Of course, the Giants continue to drop passes in the last couple of weeks. Here is Ron Dayne driving forward, and a flag goes down. And Dayne stopped at the 30-yard line by Greg Ellis after a pickup of 3. Under a minute to go in this third quarter.
Going to be a hold.
That'll go against the Giants.
Holding. Number 34, offense. 10-yard penalty.
Fullback Greg Camella.
Second down.
Working on Dexter Coakley. See, that shouldn't happen. He's latched onto him there, and that's what they're going to hold. See his hand right on the top. That's what they call. See, Camella, when he's about to have contact, he stops his feet. I don't understand why he does that. He should just run through somebody, especially a smaller guy like Dexter Coakley.
4 receivers line up, 2nd and 20 after the penalty. Inside his 10-yard line, here is Tiki Barber, and Barber's going to be chased down, and Darren Woodson gets him again. So the Cowboys' speed showing up here in this third quarter defensively, and a gain of 5 yards with under a half a minute remaining in this third quarter.
Every time I watch Darren Woodson, he plays very well. I just can't help it. I mean, there's 2 guys in this Cowboy team that every time I watch them, regardless of where they are, when they play, what tape I watch, Darren Woodson is one of those guys who always plays well, and the other guy is Larry Allen. Always.
Jurevicius continues to play at wide receiver for Amani Tooman. 3rd and 15 from the 22-yard line. Collins getting rid of it, but can't get it over to Hilliard. Incomplete as time runs out, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: the Cowboys 14 and the Giants 13. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox. By the Cowboys, the kickoff returned by Tucker of 90 yards, and then Emmitt Smith superb running, and the Dallas Cowboys lead the New York Giants 14-13 as we start the 4th quarter. Brad Maynard will be punting. Wayne McGarity goes back deep for the Dallas Cowboys. Good kick by Maynard, and McGarity at the 24-yard line returning, and he dives forward to the 39. Fumble. And the Giants, they have recovered, did not get the official sign yet, and a flag is down as well. So there's a penalty marker down, and there was a fumble.
Players ruled down by contact.
All right, so there's no fumble, but there's also a flag. See, once they call down by contact, you can't challenge it. So there is the ball. That's a fumble. But because they called down by contact, you can't challenge that.
That's exactly right. It's the same as the whistle blowing.
58 of the return team. A 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
So then there's the penalty on Joe Bowden. Ten-yard penalty against Bowden on the return, so they're going to mark that off. But it looked like there was the fumble, and as you mentioned, once they rule down by contact, you can't even review it.
Now, keep in mind also that they used up both their challenges already. You get 2 challenges per game, and he used both of them in the 1st half. So even if he could challenge it, it wouldn't matter.
Jim Fossil's going to be very frustrated at this
literally
point.
red.
0 for 7 in the last 2 years in challenges. Could not have challenged this one. And the call, whether you challenge it or not, ruled down by contact.
Right.
It'll look like he had fumbled anyway before he was down. There it is. The ball came out before his knee hit the ground.
Sure, there's no question about it. And Dave Thomas is the guy who forced the fumble. It won't matter.
Bad call, but the Cowboys get it back on the 15-yard line after the penalty, and the pass caught by Damon Hodge, and the rookie looking very impressive coming in for the injured James McKnight, out with a contusion of the shoulder. A gain of 20 yards for Dallas, getting out of trouble.
Well, he's just working on the outside, and if you're going to give a cushion, again, keep in mind the hips. See the hips? The hips are turned to the inside. It's hard to recover that way. I just work back to the outside, and Aikman sees it perfectly, and he's there.
Damon Hodge from Alabama State. His first NFL receptions today. 1st down at the 35 for the Cowboys. Here's Emmitt Smith, and he won't get away from Michael Strahan.
He's playing well today.
Playing a brilliant game defensively for the Giants.
And he is playing very, very well, and he's playing, you know, he's making a lot of big plays in the running game. And here now they're just going to try to, actually that's the backside. He did it. He did a nice job of slipping the block back inside on Larry Allen. You know, the Giant defense collectively call Larry Allen the silent killer because they say he always gets his guy. He doesn't talk about it. Strahan was talking about that very play just yesterday and saying how he had to play that thing.
2nd down and 15. Early here in the 4th quarter, Aikman going up the middle, and it's intercepted by Mike Barrow. And that's number 5, thrown by Troy Aikman. Mike Barrow on the interception, and the Giants have it at the Dallas 31-yard line.
I'll bet you that interception is sparking a little debate with Terry Howie out there. They had a good debate going at halftime about Troy Aikman. Howie even saying he wouldn't be surprised if Troy Aikman would hang him up after this season, and that one he didn't see Michael Barrow. Looked like he was trying to throw to Thomas. He had time. Ball came out and was picked. That's 5 picks.
5 interceptions, and he had 4 coming into the game. That's 9 on the year. So first down for the Giants. Trail by 1 point. 14-13. Ron Dayne is the running back. Dayne picking his way up front and picking up about 5 or 6 yards. Dat Nguyen making the tackle. So 5 interceptions. Ties a Dallas Cowboy record. Eddie LeBaron, who was the quarterback when the Cowboys began, he and Don Meredith used to alternate plays under Tom Landry when they came into the league in 1960. Danny White, Steve Pallor, and today Troy Aikman throwing 5 picks. 2nd and 6 at the 27. 2 tight ends for the Giants. Pass caught at the 20 by Jurevicius and hit hard immediately by Dat Nguyen.
Dat Nguyen got himself a stinger or something at right shoulder. He's holding it. He came out, and Joe Jurevicius is a big man now. He's about 235 to 40 pounds. I look at him all the time. I mess with him, telling him that he's going to be a tight end, and listening, he'll tell you exactly why. You heard that hit? Yeah, Joe Jurevicius got, and I think he even hurt him more at the end when he got up and flipped him. Dat Nguyen's looked like his right shoulder there is just.
Well, Dat Nguyen coming back this week after missing 3 games with a sprained knee, and he is hurt once more. We'll be back. Back here at Giants Stadium, the Giants with a first down at the 20-yard line following the interception by Barrow. Here's Tiki Barber, who was brought down by Baron Wortham, who replaced Dat Nguyen, who has a dislocated right shoulder. Wortham and Joe Bowden, 2 former Tennessee Titans, and before that, Houston Oiler linebackers, as Dat Nguyen was taken off.
Yeah, that's painful. That's a painful thing. Watch, boom, right there. And that's one thing. So I think it's probably dislocated here. Now watch, Jurevicius gets up and gives it a little flip, which had to hurt even more. It's a big receiver.
2nd down and 8. Troy Aikman, who has thrown 5 interceptions today. But the Cowboys still lead by a point. Collins, and the catch is made by Camella, his 2nd of the day. Last week, Greg Camella led the Giants in receptions against the Atlanta Falcons. He gets 8 yards there, and it'll be 3rd and short.
Again, the nice job by the offensive line of protecting Kerry Collins. They really haven't gotten much pressure on him at all today. If the Cowboys didn't bring an extra guy, a blitzer or something, or if they have a zone blitz or something like that where they're trying to create a guy, they're just expecting their defensive linemen to beat them. They haven't gotten there at all.
3rd down and 1. Giants hope for their last 7 and 3rd down conversions. And they're going to go to the air on 3rd and 1, and it's caught by Jurevicius, and a first down at the 7-yard line. So a 4-yard pickup to Jurevicius, who has played practically the entire half at wide receiver.
Working out there on Flippy Sparks, and Flippy Sparks is given what's called the bail technique. He's just going to turn. He's reading back inside. He's giving ground as he's bailing out of there. Jurevicius took advantage of it, broke to the outside.
And Amani Toomer is okay. No problem with his health, we understand. He just has not been used. 1st and goal at the 7. Here is Ron Dayne, and he gets to the 3-yard line. But instead of Toomer, the Giants going with Jurevicius, who has many catches today as he had coming into this game.
I want to show you a little bit about pad level. Watch Ron Dayne get low. And the low man always wins, but here he goes on Alonzo Spellman. He's going to just get underneath, and because of that, his power base is better than Alonzo's, and he gets a couple extra yards.
2nd and goal at the 3. Here's Dayne. Touchdown.
That was another one, Dick. Did you see where his pad level was?
Yes.
He was low
out
against a really fine player in Darren Woodson. He just went right underneath. His pad level was lower than Woodson's, and he ran right through him. You have no power when you lose your leverage. Watch Dayne. Watch him lower his level when he has to. Right here. Look at that. Right through him. Really well done.
And the Giants are going to go for 2 now, leading by a score of 19-14. 2-point conversion coming up. Only their second try of the season. And the pitch goes to Tiki Barber, and Dexter Coakley slows him up, and the rest of the Cowboys get there. And so the Giants do not convert. Barber comes up a bit limping. But here's Dayne's touchdown. He scored one last week, and the Giants regain the lead, 19-14. 19-14. Tiki Barber was shaken up, but Ron Dayne with the touchdown. The Giants with 13 points off of turnovers. There have been 5 of them. They've capitalized twice. And Dayne today with 81 yards is a season high for the Heisman Trophy rookie from Wisconsin. And the kickoff by Daluiso, and Jason Tucker returning for the Cowboys. Trying to get away from traffic, does. Terrific return man is Tucker as he brings it out to the 35 before Dave Thomas stops him.
Again. There's Tiki Barber. You can watch his end, and he came up limping at the end of this play. You can watch Dexter Coakley, he's just too fast for that kind of play running outside. He just runs him into the sideline. Actually, his foot or his ankle or something got caught up, because as we went to the sideline, we watched him. They had his shoe off, and they were looking at that left, either ankle or foot or something.
And there is Barber trying to run it off. That's his numbers today. Remember, the Giants lost Jason Sehorn with a injury to the clavicle on his interception to start the game. 1st and 10 at the 35, and a fake end around. Here's Emmitt Smith trying to go wide, and Dave Thomas stays with him all the way and limits Smith to a gain of 2.
He's tackled pretty well, Dave Thomas. He's a big kid. Remember, we said about 6'3", about 220. And so generally what you like to do is you like to get your running back on a corner, because corners, as a rule, don't really tackle that well. Dave Thomas, I believe, is an exception to that rule. He's really made his presence felt in the kicking game. 3 special teams, last 3 kickoffs, he made the tackles.
2nd down and 8 at the 37-yard line. Giants leading by 5 points. 9-10 to go in the 4th. Play action, and on the screen pass, here's Emmitt Smith diving forward. Does not get to the chains. He's short by about 3 yards with Strahan downfield on the play. A couple of injury reports for Dat Nguyen. It's a contusion to the right shoulder after a further examination. So he did not dislocate his left shoulder, a contusion to the right shoulder. And as far as Tiki Barber goes, they just stepped on his foot, and apparently he'll be all right. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Cowboys.
It's a big down here for this Giant defense. Against Tennessee, they were horrible on 3rd down, and it was the difference in the game.
Flag is down. Penalty marker down, and it's going to be a false start penalty against the Cowboys. Preliminary signal.
False start. Illegal snap. Number 53, offense.
And the frustration for Dave Campbell. So instead of 3rd and 2, it'll be 3rd and 7.
An illegal snap. That's the old veteran center, Mark Stepnoski, trying to get a little bit of extra in there. See if he can't get a defender to jump and move. You know, and as we look at this 3rd down, Rocket Ismail has 0 catches today.
And with Joey Galloway out for the year, he's their top receiver. 3rd down and 7. Troy Aikman getting protection, and the pass is dropped. Wide open was Jason Tucker, and he dropped it. It would have been a Cowboy 1st down with plenty to spare. So with all the good things Jason Tucker has done with his returns, this one goes in the negative column big time.
Well, this one they needed, because he beat Williams just like he had to, and the ball was thrown. It was a very catchable ball. This is not on Troy Aikman. This is on Tucker. I mean, it's just have time, look, step, throw, catch. He did everything right except for that last part.
So Tucker now, the smile is gone from his face, and on 4th down, Micah Noor will kick, and Tiki Barber back in the game. after that minor foot injury, and Barber on the 20-yard line didn't call for the fair catch. I'd say his foot's okay.
I'd step on it more often. That's a gutsy job.
30-yard return by Tiki Barber.
Gutsy job of feeling where that first man down is and then taking advantage of him going behind him. Just blew up right up inside.
Good field position for the Giants when we return. Airport nearby is the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1, and you'll have to take our word for it, and what gives it away, of course, the shadows. There it is, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 1.
That was the MetLife shadow.
Right. The shadow knows. 1st and 10 at midfield, and the handoff is to Ron Dayne. Dayne breaking out of a pack. And Ron Dayne getting close to his first 100-yard effort. He gets 16 there, and that gives him 97 for the game with Sparks on the tackle.
Well, he does a nice job of just following his blocks and creating some. Beautifully done there. Dexter Coakley makes him miss, and then turns Felipe Sparks around on his way to his 16-yarder.
Collins 13 of 23. Dayne with 97 yards, and Ike Hilliard, the leading receiver, with 3 catches. First down from the 34-yard line. There's Dayne again, and it's Teague who makes the tackle, but not before Ron Dayne picks up about 7 yards on first down, and the Giants chewing up the clock here in the 4th quarter.
Well, it's just as he gets his 100th yard, I want you to watch Ron Dayne, but he also picks up a nice block right there by Parker. And then just watch the big lower body. You know, he's got some pretty, not a real fast guy, but he's fast enough. And if you think that he's slow, he'll beat you. 200
yards rushing by the Giants, more than 100 of them from Ron Dayne, and Tiki Barber has the rest. 2nd down and 3 on the 27-yard line. And here is Barber trying to go outside and tripped up by Felipe Sparks, and no gain on the play. As we wind down to 6 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, the Giants trying to go to 5-2 going into their bye week, and the Cowboys looking to get even on the year. Both of their victories this year have come on the road against the Redskins and the Carolina Panthers in overtime. 3rd down and 4 at the 27. Ron Dayne's biggest day of his rookie year. Collins with a rollout, looking left, and will get called for intentional grounding, as I don't think the pass got to the line of scrimmage.
It has to be at or beyond the line of scrimmage.
And it was not.
You know, Dick, at the start of this game, we said which offensive line would perform.
That's the call, grounding, and a loss of down as well.
Yeah, we said that whichever offensive line would protect and run block the best would be the difference in the game. And right now, this New York Giant offensive line, it really has been. He's 200 yards running, and they've protected Collins pretty well. They've been the difference in the football game.
Only once has anyone gotten to Collins. In fact, there's only been one quarterback trap by each team. Here's Ron Winter.
Intentional grounding. Number 5, offense. Penalizing the spot of the foul and a loss of down. 4th down.
And of course, the Giants out of field goal range, and they might have been even before that last play, but they surely are now.
It would be where the tight end is, the tight end. So it's outside this, and then once you get outside that box, and he's not, it has to be at or beyond the line of scrimmage, which is right there. And it is not at, clearly not beyond. And it's the right call.
So as Collins comes to the sideline, Brad Maynard will be kicking, and Wayne McGarity back for the Cowboys. And going for the sideline is Daluiso, and Giants unable to keep it in play.
Remember, same thing happened again 2 weeks ago in Tennessee. Ron Dixon went down there, and he got an earful from his head coach when he got to the sideline. He'll learn.
Cowboys, who briefly had a 14-13 lead, now trail by 5 points with that much time remaining, have a first down on the 20-yard line. Ismail and Hodge are the wide receivers for Troy Aikman. who has thrown 5 interceptions. Throwing on first down, and Hodge makes the grab on a first down to the 35-yard line, beating Dave Thomas inside, a pickup of 16.
Troy Aikman's had pretty good time throwing the football. Again, he's been inaccurate a few times. Of those 5 interceptions, 4 of them, I believe, are on him. But he has had time to throw. They've protected him pretty well.
Damon Hodge has 3 catches, does the rookie. Rocket Ismail 0. From the 36-yard line. Again, Aikman the throw, and wide open is Robert Thomas, and a flag goes down from upfield. Thomas is tackled at the 41-yard line. Earlier caught his first NFL touchdown catch. And you can see by the look on Hodge's face that he may be the guilty party in an offensive pass interference call.
Pass interference. Number 16, offense. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And those are crippling penalties. The Cowboys have had a lot of those today, Matt, that set them down at this time frame.
Well, remember, as you're looking at Hodge on the tops, he's blocking before the ball's ever thrown. You can't do that. Remember at the start of the game, we said that they were inconsistent teams, and they had to find themselves exactly what they were. And this Dallas Cowboy team just still looks like they're searching.
And the Giants trying to win a come-from-behind game for the first time this year. With 4:41 to go. First and 20. Back at the 26-yard line. And Aikman with a pump fake going to Hodge, who's open. And it's out of bounds. The pass out of bounds, and another flag. He went out of bounds and could not come back and catch it.
And can't touch it. You see, if the official has no hat on, that means he did go out of bounds.
Can't be the first to touch the ball.
Once he goes out, that's nicely done by Dave Thomas. See, now he becomes ineligible. And then he goes back up, and he's the first guy inbound. He's the first guy to touch it, and you can't. And it's not about reestablishing. You can't. You have to. Somebody else has to be there.
And you look at Troy Aikman, who has dealt with a lot of veterans in his great career, now having to go it with some rookies and young people who are inexperienced, and you have to be patient if you're Troy Aikman. At least that's what it looks like.
And you also have to be able to improvise sometimes, Dick, and I think that's not one of Troy's real strong suits. I don't think he's going to have a lot of nights where the night at the Improv right there.
So illegal touching. Offense. Receiver out of bounds. Came back in, was the first to touch. The penalties decline. Second down.
You know, personally, I looked at that, and they had Chris Warren on Ryan Phillips man-to-man outside. Phillips did a good job of getting a physical jam on him outside. I would think that my eyes as a quarterback, of course, I don't play quarterback that often.
Good thing. There's Rocket, no catches today. They lost Joey Galloway with a knee injury in the opening day, so it's inexperience out there. Second down and 20. There's another pump fake, and the pass overthrown. It was intended for Damon Hodge, and Emmanuel McDaniel, who has had to play cornerback ever since Sehorn's injury early on.
You see what happened, though, Dick? Michael Barrow, see, they had a mix-up outside. Nobody was covering the guy, Hodge, down below. Michael Barrow went to the official and tried to call a timeout, and he didn't get it. He didn't get the timeout, so they leave it alone. See this one down here? Nobody was on him. They were all messed up, so Dave Thomas runs over at the last second. And you can see inside, Barrow was already to the umpire asking for the timeout. And he got over there late, and the umpire never gave it to him, and they got an incompletion.
Third down and 20. Aikman with another pump fake, and this pass, and that was nearly intercepted by Sean Williams, who already has an interception today. So the woes for Troy Aikman continue. That pass was tipped, we understand. In any event, it'll be fourth down.
Well, it's just not enough. That was a tip there, but for me, see, that ball needs more. It has to be up higher. He's not. Just doesn't look like he has any arm strength today.
Wayne McGarity was the intended receiver. Remember Randall Cunningham, who was impressive when he came in when Troy Aikman suffered the concussion in week 1, played well. But Troy has been the man the last couple of weeks. So Micah Noor punting to Tiki Barber. One escape. and then he slides to the 35-yard line with 4:11 to go in a 19-14 game. Well, action early on. Jason Sehorn with an interception suffered a injury, came out of the game. There's Pete Mitchell with a touchdown catch. It was 7-0, and then Jason Tucker with a 90-yard kickoff return. LaFleur getting the Cowboys close, and Emmitt Smith going in for the touchdown. It was 14-13 before Ron Dayne went over from 3 yards out, and that's where we are. The Giants just under 200 rushing yards, and the Cowboys turning it over 5 times thanks to Troy's 5 interception, tying a Dallas team record. So a first down for the Giants, and it's Ron Dayne, and the Giants will try to use up the clock as we get close to 4 minutes remaining.
That's a good timeout by the Dallas Cowboys.
Their first. Five-point deficit, so the Cowboys need a touchdown.
Cowboys aren't very good, Dick.
But they don't need an extra point. Just 6 would do it, and the Cowboys now with 2 timeouts remaining.
Cowboys have they're not in sync. They just, speaking to Dave Campo, he's talking about looking for consistency, and he's, after this game, he watches this tape, he's going to continue to look for that same consistency.
Campo's first year, and the Dallas Cowboys kind of a transition stage. The concern mostly on the defensive side of the football. This team was last in the league against the run, second to last to Arizona in the number of sacks, and they didn't put any pressure on today. Only 1 time did they get to Kerry Collins, and Emmitt Smith, who has seen the high side and the low side. Just watches. 2nd down and 7 following the timeout. Here is Joe Jurevicius, and he is tackled about 3 yards shy of the first down by Ryan McNeil, and the clock continues to run under 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
The Giants will use every second of that 40-second clock. Let it run all the way down. Just let the clock kind of tick off.
Joe Bowden out with a groin strain, so another Cowboy injury.
Derek Hambrick is in there.
3rd down and 3. Tiki Barber is the running back. Here is Collins going the other way, gets away from Ellis, and he's going to run and slide. He's way short. In fact, he lost 3 yards.
He should have run for it. He should have, and you can hear the crowd. They don't like that.
Because he had running room.
He had some room, and he just had to suck it up on that. That was the time where you say, okay, I'm going to be a man, and we got to run through it.
And the Cowboys will call a timeout.
He was smart, though, by not throwing it and stopping the clock. But he needed to try to get that first down.
So the Cowboys now with 1 timeout remaining, but they'll get their hands on the ball because the Giants will be kicking. Want to remind you, the second half of our doubleheader, the Eagles and the Cardinals. And viewers in New York will see that Philadelphia-Arizona game as well. The Eagles coming in 2 weeks after the Giants bye week. Some of you will see San Francisco, Green Bay, and our chance now to thank our fine production crew led by our producer Richie Zients, our director Artie Kempner, Rich Basili, our technical director, Greg Scopatoni, our technical producer, and Dean Walker and his fine technical staff. A lot going on today at Giant Stadium as Wayne McGarity going back deep, ready to receive Brad Maynard's punt. And McGarity gets up, and now he goes down. And speaking about Richie Basili, we want to congratulate Richie and his wife Andrea on the birth of their 2nd daughter, Tara Louise, on Tuesday. So a big day for the Basili family from all of us here at Fox Sports. And with 2:56 to go, the Cowboys, Matt, have 1 timeout, needing a touchdown.
And a 2-minute warning. You have the 2-minute warning, 1 timeout, 3 minutes to go. You have Troy Aikman at quarterback. You have a wide receiver who has 0 catches.
Ismail.
And Ismail. Most productive guy has been a rookie. the 3 catches himself today, and that would be Hodge.
Starting from the 23-yard line, so it's got to be a passing show for Troy Aikman. That has been his undoing for the most part today. Troy is going to go deep, and Hodge is there, and it's no catch. He was out of bounds. Damon Hodge made the catch, but out of bounds, so a long incompletion by Troy Aikman as Emmanuel McDaniel on the coverage.
You're running right with him, knowing that that sideline is his help. Watch the feet. There's 1 foot, and it's clearly out of bounds. Good job by the official.
And James McKnight has come into the game. The report we had earlier is that he had a contusion of the shoulder as you look at the end of that last play. But McKnight has checked in.
It's all right.
Hodge goes out.
It's all right. It's just a bruise.
Anything you say. 2nd and 10 from the 23, and they're going to hand off to Emmitt Smith. And Smith, getting to the 27-yard line, will be short by about 5 or 6 yards for the first down. Jones on the tackle as we get close to the 2-minute warning. Remember, the Cowboys have 1 timeout remaining as Smith comes out, and they'll get a break with the 2-minute warning as well. Giants leading 19-14.
Now you got Emmitt. I mean, not Emmitt, rather Emmitt's on the sideline.
Chris Warren. And Tucker in motion to the right. Aikman's pass is caught by Rocket Ismail. His first catch of the day, and a first down up to the 37-yard line. And now we're down to our 2-minute warning. A gain of 9 yards. There's the completion to Rocket Ismail, his first of the day, and we'll be right back. The Giants regaining the lead in the 4th quarter on Ron Dayne's 3-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion failed. Lead 19-14. The Cowboys with the ball on their 37-yard line. They have 1 timeout left. This has been the 2-minute warning. Chris Warren with Emmitt Smith out is the back. Tight formation for Troy Aikman. Aikman to throw. Warren alone and goes out of bounds short of the first down. Dave Thomas on the play. That was an 8-yard pickup.
They're just going to be patient. It's going to be patient, and they're looking to see exactly what the Giants are going to give them. First things first, pick up the blitz or pick up any kind of rush. That time was no blitz. They stayed back in the zone. So you run those zone people and get some depth. Just swing them in the backfield and let Warren pick up what he can.
2nd down and 2 at the 45. Tucker in motion, and the pass is caught by Ismail. That's 2 receptions, and this is a first down at midfield with McDaniel on the stop. And
there was a mix-up in the zone that time. Sean Williams got caught right in the middle of the whole thing.
135 and running from midfield. Aikman takes off and dives forward, stumbled to the 45-yard line, so he gets 5 yards. And the clock running. Dallas with a hurry up again. It'll be 2nd and 5 at the Giant 45.
Keep in mind, the Giants just have to defend the goal line.
And Aikman with Warren on the crossing pattern underneath. Short of the first down by a yard. Armstead on the tackle, and that was now the timeout will be called by Aikman. So the Cowboys use their 3rd and final timeout here, with 3rd and less than a yard coming up on the Giant 41, with Dallas needing a touchdown to pull it out.
Dallas Cowboys are throwing this football now against a whole. This is a zone by the Giants the whole time. They're not going to let them get beat deep. That's number 1, because the first thing you're defending is the goal line. And then what they're doing is they're going to let them have the underneath short, and they'll just run them down. They want to keep everything in front of them. You'll defend primary goal line. Secondary is the sidelines. And then the third thing that you'll give them is the underneath, and you just let them come up and make the tackle.
Right now in the NFC East, the Redskins defeating the Baltimore Ravens 10-3 have moved into first place, and the Giants, if they hold on, will tie the Redskins at 5-2. Dallas would drop to 2-4, and Philadelphia and Arizona coming up next on Fox. The Cowboys know that after this game they've got 4 teams with losing records, but they're just thinking of this one now, and it'll be 3rd and less than a yard with no timeouts left. Quarterback sneak, and Troy Aikman has the first down. But the clock running under a minute remaining, and Dallas can't sit on that too long. They've got to get something going.
At one point, well, if you're a defender, you get up as slow as you can. You don't let them get up.
Ball is at the 39 of the Giants. Here's Aikman. And going underneath again to Chris Warren, and Warren is tackled at the
They have to kill the clock
27-yard line by Armstead, and they've got to hurry up, and under a half a minute to go. This is coming down to the wire, and he spikes the ball and stops the clock with 25 seconds, but a flag is down at the 30. Preliminary sign against the Cowboys. Illegal, or I should say false start.
That's pretty pathetic, Dick. When you know, I mean, you have to be right.
Illegal formation. Number 79 offense was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. A 5-yard penalty.
Eric Williams.
Watch Eric Williams. He's got to be lined up. So he's got to be on the line of scrimmage. And he was off the line of scrimmage. That's just a matter of discipline.
So they'll place the ball back at the 33-yard line. So they lost 5 yards, but they didn't lose any time off the clock. It's still 25 seconds remaining.
Aikman with 25 seconds. Going to have to take not a shot. You don't try to go to the end zone. You might right here.
First down and 15 from the 33. Aikman with a pump fake and going deep into the end zone, and the ball knocked away. No flags down. It was Sam Garnes defending against James McKnight. And if you're the Giants, you always have to hold your breath with the flag, because they pop up a good deal on those plays.
Well, watch McKnight. He kind of stumbles, and actually I thought there was going to be a flag on McKnight because he interfered with Garnes' ability to make the catch. See the push in the hands, and he's pulling him down.
You're right.
Actually, it's a pretty good play there to make sure that Garnes doesn't come down with it. Got away with one.
Well, Aikman is one long throw away from putting the Cowboys ahead. 18 seconds left. 2nd and 15. And Aikman gets away from trouble, and he gets the pass off. It's caught by Jackie Harris, but he's down, and a flag goes down back at the 39-yard line with 8 seconds to go on the clock. Keith Hamilton tried to get Aikman from behind, and instead will be called for roughing the passer.
That's a tough one. Cedric Jones gave chase, and that's the flag right there.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 75 of the defense. A 15-yard penalty. Reset the game clock to 11 seconds.
So that's 2 plays, Dick. That's the important thing.
Right.
They're going to put 3 seconds back on. You're going to gain yardage, obviously. Now you're going to have a chance for 2 shots into the end zone.
But he has to go into the end zone. He can't do anything short.
But they shortened the field with the penalty, and so it's going to happen quicker. Now you're down inside the 20 to about the 15-yard line. That's a bad penalty.
We've had him on both sides tonight, but right now at this juncture, that is a critical penalty by Keith Hamilton on roughing the passer. He didn't have to do that, and now the Cowboys with a 1st and 10 at the 14, trying to win it. No timeouts remaining. Here's Aikman's first attempt, and he won't get it off. And it's Cedric Jones on the sack.
They better get back and line up Cedric Jones. The clock now, they'll stop it on a sack, and they'll give him 5 seconds. Aikman's got to stop the clock. Now he's got one shot into the end zone and the game's over. That's a big play, Dick, by Cedric Jones.
3 seconds to go, and Cedric Jones got to Troy Aikman. Couldn't get him at a better time from the Giants' standpoint.
Watch him inside. They tried to pass the stunt over, and the levels on the left side between Flozell Adams and Larry Allen got messed up. And this is the 3rd week in a row that we've watched the Giants. That's the first time Cedric Jones done. That's a big play. That's a big play in the last 3 games, maybe his first.
That is the 2nd sack of the game for the Giants. So this may be the last play of the game, barring penalty. 3 seconds to go from the 22. And now the official comes running in, I think, to adjust the play clock, not the game clock, but the play clock.
Look at how the defenders for the Giants are laid out. You can see clearly what they're defending. There's the goal line back there. That's where they're not going to let them get past.
There's Aikman. This is it. And Aikman's pass. Incomplete. The ball rolls away. And the game is over. Jesse Armstead breaks it up. And it was Damon Hodge, I believe, right in the middle. And the Giants hold on and win.
Only a 3-man rush. They're coming from the top side. Michael Strahan got pressure. Troy Aikman looked like his front foot just got caught in the turf. And oh, that was oh so close to a pick, then a touchdown, and ultimately an incompletion.
And as he's falling down, Aikman delivers the pass, and Armstead knocks it down off of Hodge. And the game is over, and the Giants have defeated the Cowboys. Their first come from behind win of the year, 19-14. We'll be back to Giant Stadium in just a moment.